My girlfriend announced during our anniversary dinner. I slept with my ex for closure. Stop being such a jealous baby about it. She sneered. Real men don't get insecure over their girlfriend's past needs. So I kicked her out, got my revenge, and now she's desperately begging. Hey, Reddit. I don't know where to start because I still can't believe this happened. So me, 29 male, and my girlfriend Kimberly, 27 female, just had our 5-year anniversary dinner. Was supposed to be this romantic evening at Romano's, the same Italian place where we had our first date back in college. I'd been planning this for weeks, man. Made reservations for 7 p.m. at our usual table by the window. We've probably sat at that exact table like 50 times over the years. It's become our spot, you know? The hostess always remembers us, asks how we're doing, the whole deal. Even bought her this Cartier bracelet that cost me 3 grand, which is a lot for a sales rep like me, but I figured 5 years together deserved something special. Been saving up for it for months, actually. Anyway, we get to Romano's, and something felt off immediately. Like the moment we walked in and she saw our table, her whole mood changed. She kept checking her phone during appetizers, barely touched her chicken parmigiana, which is usually her favorite thing there. I mean, this girl can put away a plate of pasta like nobody's business. But tonight she was just pushing it around with her fork. She seemed nervous as hell too. Kept fidgeting with her napkin, looking around the restaurant like she was expecting someone to walk in. I kept asking if everything was okay, and she just kept saying, "Yeah, fine," in that tone women use when nothing is fine. You guys know what I'm talking about. I figured maybe she was stressed about work or something. Her manager's been a real pain lately, making everyone work extra hours because they're short-staffed. Plus, Kimberly's been covering extra shifts. Banking can be stressful, dealing with angry customers all day about their account balances and loan applications getting denied. So I decided to cheer her up with the gift. We'd just finished our entrees, and I thought this would be the perfect moment. Pulled out the little Cartier box and slid it across the table with this big smile on my face. Happy 5 years, babe. She opened it, looked at the bracelet for maybe 2 seconds, then closed the box. Didn't even try it on. Didn't say thank you. Just sat there staring at the closed box like it was going to explode or something. That's when I knew something was seriously wrong. This is a girl who gets excited about jewelry from Target. And here I am with a $3,000 Cartier piece, and she can barely look at it. Hayden, I need to tell you something. That tone. You guys know that tone. Nothing good ever starts with that tone. It's the same tone your mom used when she was about to tell you that your dog died, or your girlfriend in high school used before she dumped you for the quarterback. My stomach just dropped immediately. Okay, what's up? I slept with Jaden last weekend. Just like that. No build-up, no explanation, just straight to the point. Jaden's her ex. They dated for like 2 years before we got together. Always thought that was ancient history. Guy's a personal trainer now, all muscles and protein shakes. I just sat there for a minute, trying to process what she just said. The restaurant noise kind of faded into the background. Other couples laughing and having normal anniversary dinners, while mine just exploded. I could hear the couple at the next table talking about their vacation plans to Hawaii. Meanwhile, I'm finding out my girlfriend's been cheating on me. When you said you were at your sister's place, yeah. Last weekend, she told me she was going to spend Saturday night at her sister Megan's place because Megan was having relationship problems with her boyfriend and needed girl time. Came home Sunday evening acting all weird, claiming she was tired from staying up late talking. I even asked if everything was okay with Megan, and she just said, yeah, they worked things out. Why? And here's the part that really got me. She didn't look sorry. She looked almost annoyed that I was asking questions. Like I was bothering her by wanting to understand why my girlfriend of 5 years just confessed to cheating on me during our anniversary dinner. I needed closure, Hayden. I've been thinking about him a lot recently. It was just one night. What's the big deal? What's the big deal? She cheated on me and asked, what's the big deal? Like she borrowed my car without asking or something. You planned this? I wouldn't call it planning. I just needed to figure out my feelings. But I could tell by the way she said it that this wasn't some spur-of-the-moment thing. For the past 6 weeks, she's been acting weird, distant, working late, glued to her phone. Now it all made sense. She'd been planning this whole thing. You're being dramatic. At least I told you instead of hiding it. Most girls would just keep it secret. You should be grateful I'm being honest. Grateful. I should be grateful that she cheated on me and then told me about it. The waiter came by asking if we wanted dessert. I couldn't even look at him. Kimberly waved him away like nothing happened, like we were just having a normal conversation about the weather or something. So what now? I asked. Now nothing. It's done. I got my closure. We can move on. Move on? Yes, Hayden. It actually made me realize that I want to be with you. Jaden and I don't have that spark anymore. You should be happy. I should be happy. She cheated on me and I should be happy about it because she decided she likes me better. This is exactly why I needed to see if Jaden was more mature than you're being right now. That did it. I stood up, took the Cartier box back, and walked over to our waitress Jessica, who'd been serving us for like 2 years. She knows us by name, always asks about our jobs, remembers that I like extra Parmesan on my salad. Hey Jessica, my girlfriend just told me she needed closure sex with her ex for our anniversary. This is yours now. Handed her the $3,000 bracelet. Her eyes went wide, and she tried to give it back, but I was already walking toward the exit. Could hear the whole conversation at nearby tables stopping as people turned to look. Hayden, what the hell are you doing? Kimberly was still sitting at the table. Enjoy paying for dinner. Left her there with an $1,800 check and no way to pay since I had driven us there in my car. She'd have to figure out how to get home on her own. Didn't look back, but I could hear her calling my name as I walked out the door. Got home around 9 p.m. after driving around for an hour just trying to process everything. Sat in my driveway for like 20 minutes, staring at my house. This is my house, by the way. I bought it 2 years ago when I started making better money in sales. The mortgage is in my name, the deed is in my name, everything. Kimberly's been staying here most nights for the past year and a half, but she never officially moved in. She still has her apartment across town that she uses mostly for storage now. The thing is, I really thought we were building something permanent here. She has a drawer in my dresser, half the closet space, her shampoo in the shower. Her coffee maker is on my kitchen counter because she's picky about her coffee, and mine wasn't good enough. There's pictures of us all over the walls. It felt like we were living together without the paperwork, you know? Like we were basically married except for the legal stuff. I was actually planning to propose soon. Had been looking at rings online, thinking about how to do it. Maybe on a vacation somewhere nice, or back at Romano's where it all started. My phone started going off around 9:30. Text after text from Kimberly. How could you embarrass me like that? Jessica probably thinks I'm a horrible person. You left me stranded. I had to call an Uber and it cost $35. Answer your phone. We need to talk about this like adults. You're being childish. I didn't answer any of them. Just went inside and tried to watch TV, but couldn't focus on anything. Kept thinking about how casual she was about the whole thing. Like she genuinely couldn't understand why I was upset. The way she said, "What's the big deal?" keeps replaying in my head. And the fact that she planned it. She spent weeks thinking about it. Texting Jaden, setting up a time to meet, lying to me about where she was going. That takes real calculation. Around 11 p.m., I heard her car in the driveway. The Honda Civic that she's had since college and refuses to replace even though the air conditioning doesn't work and the radio only picks up AM stations. Then her key in the lock. I'd already decided to change the locks tomorrow, so this would be the last time that key worked. She came storming in immediately, still wearing the same dress from dinner, a black one that I bought her for her birthday last year. The irony wasn't lost on me. She immediately launched into this tirade about how I'd embarrassed her in front of everyone at the restaurant, how Jessica was going to tell all the staff what happened, how humiliating the whole thing was for her. The audacity was incredible. She was mad at me for embarrassing her after she just confessed to cheating on me at our anniversary dinner. I pointed out that it wasn't nearly as humiliating as finding out your girlfriend of 5 years thinks cheating is no big deal. That's when she hit me with the closure defense again. Insisted she didn't cheat, that what she did with Jaden was different because it had a purpose. Like the motivation somehow changed what actually happened. This idea that sleeping with her ex wasn't really cheating because she had some noble reason behind it. I told her there really wasn't a difference. She kept going on about how ridiculous I was being, how I'd given away a $3,000 bracelet to prove some petty point. I told her she didn't deserve it, which set her off even more. She kept emphasizing that it was just one night with Jaden, like that made it better somehow. Like if it was just one night instead of an ongoing affair, I should be okay with it. That's when I told her to pack her stuff and leave. She actually looked shocked, like she hadn't considered that this might be the consequence of her actions. Started arguing about how we lived together and had a life together. But that's when it hit me how smart I'd been without even realizing it. Never putting her name on anything. Never officially moving her in. She kept insisting she wasn't going anywhere, that I couldn't just kick her out over this. Started going on about how we'd been together for 5 years, and that meant something. How we had a life together, and I couldn't just throw it away over one mistake. But here's the thing. It wasn't a mistake. A mistake is forgetting to pay a bill or accidentally deleting an important email. This was a choice. A series of choices over several weeks. So I called the police. Hi, I need someone removed from my property. She doesn't live here legally and won't leave when asked. You're calling the cops on me? She jumped up off the couch. Are you insane? You said you weren't leaving. So now you don't have a choice. She started freaking out, saying I was crazy, and that this was her home too. But legally, it wasn't. She gets mail here sometimes, but her permanent address is still her apartment. She's never paid rent or utilities. Her name isn't on anything. Two officers showed up about 15 minutes later. Both seemed pretty professional about the whole thing. Explained the situation. My house, my lease, she doesn't live here officially. I want her gone. They asked if she had any mail coming here consistently, or if she'd been here longer than 30 days straight without leaving. Truth is, she goes back to her apartment at least once a week to get clothes or check on things, so she's never technically been here for 30 consecutive days. She stays here sometimes, but isn't her legal residence. They asked her to gather her immediate belongings and leave. She tried arguing with them about relationship problems and how we were practically married, but they weren't interested in hearing about our personal drama. Ma'am, if this isn't your legal residence and the homeowner wants you to leave, you need to go. She grabbed some clothes, her toothbrush, and her work clothes for tomorrow. Called me every name in the book while she was stuffing things into a grocery bag. Said I was going to regret this. That I was making the biggest mistake of my life. That no one would ever love me like she did. Woke up the next morning to my phone going absolutely crazy. 17 missed calls and about 30 text messages. Most of them from Kimberly's family, which was weird because I usually only hear from them on holidays or birthdays. Her mom's the type who sends those long Facebook posts about family being everything and shares minion memes, but we've never really talked much one-on-one. Her mom started calling at 7 a.m., which is early even for her. I was barely awake, still trying to process everything that happened last night. For a split second, when I saw Mom on my caller ID, I forgot it wasn't my mom and answered without thinking. The conversation was basically her telling me that Kimberly came home crying last night and had to move back into her old bedroom. Apparently, Kimberly spun some story about us having a fight and me overreacting to a misunderstanding. Made it sound like I kicked her out over something minor instead of, her cheating on me. Her mom kept saying things like, everyone makes mistakes, and she loves you so much, and don't throw away 5 years over one little error in judgment. I tried explaining that this wasn't a mistake or an error in judgment. She planned this for weeks, but her mom just kept interrupting me saying I was being dramatic and that couples work through these things all the time. The whole conversation lasted maybe 10 minutes before I realized there was no point. She was never going to see it from my perspective because Kimberly had already poisoned the well with her version of events. So I just said, she made her choice, now she gets to live with it, and hung up. Her dad called an hour later with basically the same speech. She's a good girl, Hayden. She made an error in judgment. Don't be stubborn about this. Her dad's always been this old school guy who thinks men should just put up with whatever women do, because that's what marriage is about. Error in judgment. Like she accidentally took the wrong exit on the highway, instead of deliberately planning to sleep with her ex-boyfriend. I blocked both their numbers after that conversation because I could already see where this was going. They were going to keep calling, trying to guilt me into taking her back. But the real surprise was when my parents called that afternoon. Apparently, Kimberly's mom called them trying to get them to talk sense into me. My parents are pretty private people and don't usually get involved in my relationship drama, so I was curious to hear what they had to say. My dad was the one who called, which was unusual because my mom usually handles the emotional stuff. Son, we heard what happened. Are you okay? Just hearing him ask that simple question in his calm, steady voice made me feel better immediately. I gave him the real story. He listened without interrupting, which is what my dad does. He processes information before he reacts. Good, he said when I finished. Your mother and I think you handled it right. Nobody should put up with that kind of disrespect. We like Kimberly, my mom added, when she got on the phone. We thought she was good for you, but what she did was wrong, and the way her family is handling it tells you everything you need to know about where she learned this behavior. That felt really good, having my parents back me up instead of trying to convince me to take back a cheater. It's funny how you don't realize how much you need that support until you get it. Around 5 p.m., another number I didn't recognize called. I answered thinking it might be work-related, since I had a big presentation coming up Monday, and sometimes clients call on weekends. This is Connor, Kimberly's older brother, the one who's always thought he was tough because he works construction and drives a lifted truck with truck nuts hanging from the hitch. He's one of those guys who's always talking about respect and honor, but has never actually been in a real fight in his life. You left my sister stranded at a restaurant and called the cops on her? What kind of man does that? The kind who doesn't tolerate cheating. He said that Kimberly made one mistake, and I'm acting like she killed someone. One mistake. There's that word again. Like cheating is equivalent to forgetting to take out the trash or leaving the toilet seat up. You embarrassed her in front of everyone at that restaurant. You're lucky I don't come over there and teach you some respect. And there it was. The threat I'd been expecting. Connor's always been the type to solve problems with intimidation because he's bigger than most people. About 6 feet 3 inches and probably 250 pounds. Most of it muscle from throwing around construction materials all day. Are you threatening me, Connor? I'm telling you to fix this situation before I fix it for you. The funny thing is, I wasn't even scared. Maybe I should have been, but I was just tired of everyone acting like I was the bad guy here. Like I forced Kimberly to cheat on me and then had the audacity to be upset about it. Connor, your sister is a grown woman who made grown-up choices. She can deal with grown-up consequences. I hung up and immediately blocked his number. The whole thing was so typical of Kimberly's family. Instead of being disappointed in her for cheating, they were mad at me for not just accepting it and moving on. Like I was supposed to be grateful that she chose me after her little test drive with Jaden. My cousin Austin called around 8 p.m. asking what the hell was going on, because apparently the story was already making the rounds through our friend group. Austin's always been the one I tell everything to. We grew up together, went to the same high school, and he's basically like a brother to me. Dude, did you really give a $3,000 bracelet to your waitress? Word travels fast, apparently, especially in a town this size. Romano's is the kind of place where half the people eating there know each other, and Jessica probably told the whole story to anyone who would listen. Yeah, that's the most savage thing I've ever heard. Jessica posted about it on Facebook. She couldn't believe it. Great. Now it's on social media. But honestly, I didn't care. Let everyone know what Kimberly did. Maybe it would save some other guy from going through the same thing. Went to bed that night feeling pretty good about my decision. Sure, my 5-year relationship was over, but at least I knew who my real family was. Next morning, I woke up with a realization that hit me like a brick to the face. That joint savings account we'd been building for our future house and wedding, Kimberly still had full access to it. And knowing her family, especially after those phone calls yesterday, they were probably advising her to take what she could before I froze her out completely. We opened that account 2.5 years ago when we decided to play adults, saving for a house, wedding, honeymoon, the whole Pinterest dream. We even made a spreadsheet because we thought that made us responsible. Money-wise, I was tossing in $800 to $1,000 a month from my sales job, pulling in about $4,500 to $5,000 after taxes. Kimberly chipped in $400 to $500 from her bank teller gig. Not huge, but steady. I respected that. Or I used to. The thing is, we'd set it up as a joint account where either person could make withdrawals without the other being present. Made sense at the time because we trusted each other and figured we might need quick access to the money for house-related emergencies or whatever. Seemed like the mature, committed couple thing to do. Now I'm realizing how stupid that was. Drove to the bank during my lunch break. Not her branch, though. I'm not an idiot. Went to the main location downtown where she doesn't work. The last thing I needed was her coworkers getting involved in this drama or giving her a heads up that I was there. Walked up to the first available teller, this older lady who looked like she'd been working there since the bank opened. I need to withdraw funds from this account. Handed her my ID and the account information. She pulled it up on her screen, and I could see her eyes widen a little when she saw the balance. $47,382. Almost 50 grand that we'd saved up over more than 2 years of disciplined saving. Money that was supposed to buy us a house in a nice neighborhood, maybe even have enough left over for some decent furniture. This is a joint account, sir. You'll need both parties present to make any large withdrawals. Actually, both parties can withdraw funds independently. That's how joint accounts work. She looked uncertain and called over her supervisor. He double-checked the account terms and confirmed what I already knew. Either person can withdraw money without the other present. That's literally the whole point of a joint account. How much would you like to withdraw today, Mr. Hayes? I'd been thinking about this number during the drive over. Our balance was $47,382. I'd contributed about $32,000 of that over the past 3 years. Kimberly had put in maybe $15,000, maybe a little more. But legally, I could take whatever I wanted. The whole thing, if I felt like it. But I'm not a complete asshole. I just wanted what was mine. I'd like to withdraw $32,000, please. She said that it's a large withdrawal, and they'll need to verify my identity and have me sign some additional paperwork for anything over $10,000. Fine by me. Took about an hour with all their security procedures and questions about what I planned to do with the money. I told them I was making a large purchase, which wasn't technically a lie since I was already planning to use some of it for that Italy trip I'd originally planned for both of us. Walked out with a cashier's check for $32,000. leaving her with the $15,382 she'd actually contributed. More than fair, considering she's the one who blew up our relationship for some closure with her ex. Drove straight to my personal bank, a different one entirely, and deposited the check into my individual account. Told me the funds would be available in 2 business days. So around 4 p.m., I was finishing a sales call when my phone buzzed. Unknown number. Picked up thinking it was work. Nope. It was Kimberly calling from her job, since I'd already blocked her personal number. She jumped right in, no apology, just demanding to know why I stole 32 grand from our savings. I reminded her that was my money, my share from our so-called future house fund. She freaked that she can't buy a house with what's left. I told her maybe she should have thought of that before crawling back to Jaden. She tried playing the one-night card like it made cheating less brutal. I made it clear she tanked her own life. I'm just not going down with her. She hung up. Good. Saves me the effort of blocking another number. 2 hours later, Connor called from yet another number. Guy must have borrowed someone's phone because I'd already blocked his personal line. You stole my sister's money, you piece of shit! I took my own money from an account I had legal access to. He started yelling about how the $32,000 was for her future, as if her future didn't already involve not cheating on me in the first place. He tried to threaten me, saying I'd pay for this, like he's auditioning for a bad action movie. I shut that down fast. Told him if he kept calling and running his mouth, I'd have no problem filing a police report. Hung up and immediately blocked that number too. Starting to think I should just change my phone number entirely, but I use it for work and didn't want to deal with updating all my business contacts. The funny thing is, I wasn't even being vindictive about the money. I could have taken all of it legally. Joint accounts work both ways. If she'd gotten to the bank before me, she could have cleaned out the whole thing and left me with nothing. I actually left her with more money than she'd contributed because I wasn't trying to screw her over financially. I was just protecting myself from someone who'd already proven she couldn't be trusted. Best part about all this? I'd already taken Monday off work to start planning that Italy trip. Originally, it was going to be for both of us, a surprise anniversary getaway to Rome and Florence. I'd been researching hotels and restaurants for weeks, had a whole itinerary planned out. Now it was going to be a solo trip, funded by money that was rightfully mine, to celebrate my freedom from someone who thought cheating was just closure. Kimberly always said Italy was too expensive, and we should save for the house instead. Funny how priorities change when you're not saving for a future with someone who doesn't respect you. The morning of my flight to Rome, I'm standing at the airport check-in counter when I see something that makes my blood run cold. Kimberly, sitting at gate B12 with a rolling suitcase, looking around like she's waiting for someone. She's at my gate, for my flight, the flight I booked for our anniversary trip that was supposed to be a surprise. I finish checking in and walk over to see what the hell is going on. This is surreal even by the standards of the past week. She spots me immediately and jumps up with this huge smile like absolutely nothing happened. Like we didn't break up 4 days ago. Like she didn't confess to cheating on me at our anniversary dinner. Hayden, I knew you'd come around. I already checked in. I used the confirmation number from your email. The audacity. She went through my email, found the flight confirmation I'd saved as a surprise, and booked herself a seat thinking she could just show up and everything would be magically fixed. Like cheating on me was just some minor disagreement we could work through with a romantic getaway. I didn't say a word, just reached into my wallet, pulled out her ticket that I'd printed at home when I originally planned this as a couple's trip, and slowly tore it into pieces right in front of her face. Let the pieces fall to the airport floor like confetti. Her smile vanished instantly. What are you doing? Still didn't say anything. Sometimes silence is more powerful than words. Picked up my carry-on and walked to a different part of the gate area. She followed me, of course, because Kimberly's never been good at taking hints. Hayden, please. I thought this could be a fresh start for us. A chance to work things out in a romantic setting. I put in my earbuds and opened the book I'd brought for the flight. She stood there for maybe 10 minutes talking to the side of my head about how we belong together and how what happened with Jaden didn't mean anything. Finally, security made her move along since she didn't have a valid ticket anymore and was bothering other passengers. Watched her walk away, dragging her suitcase behind her, probably having to explain to her Uber driver why she wasn't actually going anywhere. Part of me wondered how she even got through security without a boarding pass. But then I remembered she works at a bank and probably knows how to talk her way past minimum wage TSA agents. My cousin Austin called me on day 5 while I was sitting at a cafe in Florence drinking the best espresso I've ever had. Dude, you need to see what Kimberly posted on Facebook. She's completely lost her mind. He sent me screenshots over WhatsApp. She'd written this long, rambling post about toxic masculinity and insecure men who can't handle their girlfriend's history. Made it sound like I was some controlling abuser who kicked her out over jealousy instead of, her cheating on me with her ex-boyfriend. Ladies, beware of insecure men who think they own you. My ex couldn't handle that I have a past and literally called the police to have me removed from his house over a misunderstanding. Then he stole $30,000 from our joint account while I was at work and is now flaunting it on social media from Italy. This is what financial abuse looks like. I'm staying strong, but please keep me in your thoughts during this difficult time. Misunderstanding. She called cheating a misunderstanding. Like she accidentally tripped and fell naked onto Jaden's dick. The comments were mixed but trending in a direction she probably didn't expect. Some of her friends were supporting her with the usual, "you deserve better girl" bullshit, but others were asking pointed questions about what really happened. What kind of misunderstanding leads to police being called? What exactly did you do that made him react this way? Then, Jessica, our waitress from Romano's, showed up in the comments like an angel of truth. Girl, didn't you tell your boyfriend at your anniversary dinner that you slept with your ex for closure? I was your waitress that night. He gave me a $3,000 bracelet because of what you said. Maybe tell the whole story? That comment got 23 likes before Kimberly deleted it, but screenshots live forever on the internet. So I decided to post my own response. Nothing mean or vindictive, just a simple update. Just checking in from Florence. Sometimes life takes unexpected turns and you realize what really matters. Grateful for family and friends who support you when people show their true colors. The response was immediate and overwhelmingly positive. People started putting the pieces together pretty quickly. If Kimberly was posting about being kicked out and I was posting from Italy with money from our former joint account, it wasn't rocket science to figure out what happened. My cousin Austin commented, "Living well is the best revenge." My parents both liked the post. Even my boss commented, "Enjoy the vacation. You've earned it." But the best comment came from Jaden himself. Apparently, he saw the drama unfolding and decided to distance himself from the whole situation. Some people need to take accountability for their choices instead of blaming others. Hope you find peace, man. Holy shit. Even her affair partner was calling her out publicly. Kimberly responded with about 10 crying emojis and, "I can't believe you're siding with him." But the damage was done. Jaden deleted his comment after that, but people had already seen it and screenshots were making the rounds. By the end of the day, her original post was getting more criticism than support. So you cheated and he left you? That's not abuse, that's consequences. Wait, you slept with someone else and you're mad he took his own money? Jessica said you confessed at dinner. Is that true? She ended up deleting the entire post by that evening. My phone had about 50 missed calls from her family and Connor when I finally checked it that night, but I'd blocked all their numbers anyway, so it didn't matter. Just enjoyed my last night in Florence with the most peaceful sleep I'd had in months. The flight home was bittersweet. Part of me didn't want to leave Italy and go back to dealing with all this drama. But I also felt ready to start the next chapter of my life. Whatever that looked like. Been back from Italy for 2 weeks now, and the first thing I did was change my locks like I'd planned. Also got a Ring doorbell installed, so I could see if anyone showed up at my house without having to actually deal with them face to face. Smart investment, as it turned out. Good thing too, because Connor tried to come by 3 times last week. Each time I just watched him on the Ring app knocking on my door and yelling about how I needed to man up and face him. But I wasn't even home for any of those visits. Was either at work or deliberately staying away until he left. Guys got way too much free time for someone who supposedly works construction full-time. He left notes under my door each time. First one said, "We need to talk man to man." Second one was, "Stop being a coward and face me. You can't hide forever." I saved all the notes and filed a police report for harassment. The officer who took my statement said if Connor keeps showing up, they'll arrest him for criminal trespass since I've already told him not to come to my property. Apparently, having video evidence from the Ring doorbell makes it an easy case if I want to press charges. Meanwhile, Austin filled me in on everything I missed while I was gone, and it's been like watching a train wreck in slow motion. Turns out Kimberly's job at First National Bank didn't appreciate her social media drama one bit. Someone, probably Jessica or one of her coworkers, sent screenshots of her posts about financial abuse to her manager. Her manager called her in for a meeting and basically told her that publicly accusing someone of stealing money while representing the bank in her profile wasn't acceptable. She got written up for unprofessional conduct on social media and had to delete all her posts about the situation. The best part, though? Jaden wants absolutely nothing to do with her now. Turns out he's been seriously dating someone else this whole time, a yoga instructor named Ashley, who's apparently everything Kimberly isn't. Confident, independent, doesn't need closure with her exes to figure out her feelings. Sometimes the trash takes itself out. Sometimes you just have to change the locks afterward.